Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Rupanuga Varayate Gora Virbhave Bhumeshtam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavarnaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tvishe Namaha. Panchatatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Surupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Jayatam Sudato Pangor Mama Mandar Materagati Matsarvasya Padambojo Shi Radha Madana Mohano. Divyad Kalpa Drumada Shiman Ratnagara Singhasana Sto Shishi Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prestalivi Savyamano Smarami. Gopinatha Shri Estunaha Takta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate garim tat kripa tamaham bande shigurun dina tarani. Krishna tadiya padapankaj panjarantam adhyaiva me visatu manasa raja hansan prana prayama samaye kapavatta pittai kantavaro danavido smaranam kataste. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So the bodily concept of life, this is considered the worst condition to be in. Illusion. Illusion means we accept something that is not to be real. So the body is real, but it's temporary, so in that way it's unreal. But if we think about what this body is, and then we think, how can this is not me? I'm so, it's a combination of all these things. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. These are the gross material elements. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. The false ego somehow develops, and then that creates the mind, and depending on what kind of modes it's in, and we get a particular type of body. And the body has senses, and all the different bodies, they have some kind of hearing, seeing, touching. So we have five senses to get knowledge, right? We're all familiar with them. We follow them around in very good servants of the senses. The eyes for seeing, the ears for hearing, the tongue for tasting, the nose for smelling, and the fingers or the skin everywhere for touching and feeling that, touch sensation. So we're very anxious to satisfy those senses. And in illusion, we'll do anything to satisfy them. Then there's 5 senses of action for doing things. So that's the legs, and the arms, and the belly, the genitals, and the anus. They do things. They take us around. And then they're all centered around the mind. The mind is called the 10th sense. Or the common sense. The mind is present within all the other senses. The mind is always there. If you're seeing, you're hearing, you're smelling, the mind has to work. So the mind is always present. And the mind is supposed to control the senses, but in the weakened condition, the senses control the mind. So the senses tell the mind, I want this, I want that, I want to hear this, I want to smell that, I want to eat that. And the mind is dragged around. So please see the picture in the Bhagavad Gita of the chariot with the 5 horses, and each horse is one of the senses, and the driver is the intelligence. And it's a good example of how things are working in the conditioned soul. Then, so the mind suffers different kinds of trouble. Which we've heard many times. Adibhotik, other living entities cause us trouble. So mainly in our life is other people that we don't like, and because of the crazy mind, we don't like this person, we don't like that person, we don't like this language, we don't like this religion, on and on and on. It makes trouble. But then there's mosquito and goki-budi, tani, dani, so many different bugs make trouble. Germs, viruses, on and on and on. Or mice, rats, dogs, so, unlimited. Then there's Adi Daivika. So the other living entities, we can stay away from people we don't like, we can kill the mosquitoes or whatever, and think we're helping, but the adidaiva, the floods, the earthquakes, volcanoes, and we can't do anything about that. Daiva means the higher forces, the demigods are directing that. And then there's Adi Atmika. Our own body and mind, ourself, Atma. And the mind. In this day and age, the mental disease is the most common disease. Yes, sugoi shimpai and depression and all these, wakai byo and all, so many different things they name it. And how do you say paranoia? Yeah, higaishi. Higaishi tekieski. It's a very, very common thing. Because we look in the mirror and we think, oh, my body's not so nice. We see how much we're getting paid and think it's not enough, and on and on and on. I didn't do good enough in school, I didn't get the promotion, on and on. So the mind is disturbed, and we want so many things and we can't get them. Therefore, the body is the source of all miseries. There's a story in Mahabharata about a long time ago. And there were many sages. There was a time when it was hard to find food. So they were in the forest and they found some tree that had food, some kind of berries, jujubes. They're called jujubes. I haven't seen them in Japan, but in China they call them Chinese dates. The devotees from Iran gave me some, but they call them jujubes. Yeah. Anyway, they're sweet, they're nice, they're nourishing. So they picked them and they were making an offering. And then when they went to get them, they were gone. They couldn't find them. They were making. So they calculated that one of the among them had stolen them for himself. So they went around, and each one of these sages was cursing whoever had stolen them. So they were giving typical curses. He'll get sick, he'll take birth as a Rakshasa, the things that he'll never get a nice children, and those kind of curses. He'll be poor. So the Narada Muni said he will think he's his body. The worst thing is to have the bodily concept of life. So there are many yoga processes to rise above that, by jnana. Very difficult. Breath control, meditation, staying alone, so many difficult things. Analyzing all the different elements and so many, So Arjuna said it's difficult. In the 11th canto, Krishna described this process to Uddhava in much more detail. And Uddhava said the same thing. It sounds too difficult. There must be something more easy, more simple. There must be something that's more easy. Can't you tell me? And Krishna said, then he talks about bhakti yoga. And that's simple, right? But it's not so easy because we have to give up the false ego. But by engaging in bhakti yoga, and the basic is chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then the subtle body dissolves. It's just, one gets free from that conception, can understand we're souls. The Nectar Devotion says that when we clap our hands in front of the deities, there's like birds sitting in a tree, right? And you don't see the birds. If you look at a tree, I haven't seen it. But you make some noise and suddenly so many birds fly out. Or I've seen in some countries, those rats that can fly, they're suddenly from a tree, just thousands of them come flying out, but you didn't see them. But there's some kind of noise, and when there's a noise, they suddenly fly out. So similarly, on our body, so many simple reactions are sitting. But when we clap our hands in the kirtan, then they fly away. So this purport, Prabhupada refers to Lord Rishabhdev. These verses by Lord Rishabhdev in the 5th canto, there's his basic instructions to his sons. There's not very many, but they cover everything. So he tells them, don't try to enjoy the material body and senses, just engage in spiritual tapasya. Right? Tapo divyam putrikayena sattvam shudyeti tasmat, So this verse I like very much. Nunam pramatak kudute vikarma yad indriya pritya aprinoti nasadu manye yata atmanoyam hasanapi kleshada asadeha. Very beautiful verse. And so indriya pritya, like we heard sometimes devotees name Yugala Priti or somebody Priti, means very dear, keeping Krishna very dear, loving Krishna. But here is Indriya Pritya, we love our senses. We want to serve the senses. They work hard to serve the senses. Right? So people will work hard to buy a gigantic television screen to satisfy their eyes. Or they'll travel everywhere to see scenery. Or they'll go up in the Space Needle so they can see Tokyo and satisfy their eyes and their mind. Right? You understand? They work hard to get money, they can go up in that Space Needle and then they travel from far away and then they can see far. Then Indriya Pritya, they love their senses. So they're mad after these kind of things. They think that's the aim of life. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, they think to gratify the senses is the goal of life. So they do anything to satisfy their senses. Because they're suffering in this body, and they think that gratifying the senses relieves the suffering. But they don't know that we have the material body because of our previous sense gratification. And we're just creating more material bodies by this thing. So he's saying it's not intelligent to do this again. And just get creating more and more bodies. So we think, we can enjoy this material world or buy a new car, it's just a combination of material elements. And, then we think we're the body. So we have to get out, we have to understand that we're not the body. That's the first beginning. First lesson of Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin yata dehe komanram jovanamdra. The body's changing all the time, so you're not the body, you stay the same. But we're thinking, I'm this body, I'm Japanese, I'm young, I'm old, I'm Indian, I'm on and on, I'm man, I'm woman, I'm beautiful, I'm ugly, all the different wrong ideas. So, but we have to use the body because in our fallen condition, that's how we can serve Krishna. We engage the body in Krishna's service. We realize I'm a servant of Krishna. So then one is not disturbed. The body still suffers all kinds of pleasures and distress, but one doesn't get disturbed. He just tries to serve Krishna no matter what. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur put it very nicely. Grihe tako, bani tako, bolo tako. That whether you're living in the forest, you're a sannyasi or a brahmachari or vanaprastha, or you're a householder and you're living in the palace, chant the holy name. Chant Krishna. And then sukhi dukkhi bolodako, and whether you're happy or whether you're distressed, and thinking you're getting what you want, you're healthy, or whether you're in the hospital and the doctor tells you you're going to die pretty soon, or you'll have to be in a wheelchair. Chant the holy name. Equal. Just realize, you know. It's like the body's a machine. Ishvara sarvabhutanam yantam braniba. You know, the Krishna is the supreme controller, but we're living in this body, which is like a machine. It is a machine. Something like those Japanese, I don't know, those television shows where there's a gigantic robot and the people get inside the robot and drive it. And we saw that one robot club in Kabukicho, you know, where someone gets on the robot, they move their hand, the robot's hand moves, they move their foot, the foot moves. You know. So like that, we're inside these bodies, and we're making it work. But we're not, it is, the body is dead, it's not us, but because the soul is in it, so we have to know, okay, I'm serving Krishna, so I engage this body in serving Krishna. Chant the holy name. Walk to the temple. Take prasadam. Right? We satisfy the senses spiritually. And you see the beautiful deity, see the beautiful pictures of Krishna. We hear the beautiful, we see the beautiful name of Krishna, we hear the beautiful name, or we can see it also, write it, we have it written. When we see the Mahamantra in writing, it's also seeing Krishna. So we try to give everybody the Mahamantra. We make mantra cards, you know. We write the mantra. We put it on the wall. We write Hare Krishna everywhere, you know. We want to give people a chance to engage their senses spiritually. We offer flowers to Krishna, and like Vaishesika was talking about, you know, if you have the prasadam flower and you give it to people, they love it. Everybody's very happy. In Israel, I went with some devotees. They're very enthusiastic, and they go to the hospital. To the cancer hospital. So she would just go in the room and say, can we come in? Can we, you know? And most of the people say, yes, come. So, it's not people are not very blissful in the cancer hospital. But we had flowers, and we give them a flower, and they become very happy, just smile like anything. We give them a little prasad and a book. And then say, can we sing for you? And they give them a mantra on a paper and chant, and mostly they become very happy. They don't know what it's all about. They just think somebody's coming to see me, somebody's coming in all happy, and they become happy. But especially the flower, I was, just one little flower, and they'd become very happy. Krishna, of course, we become happy. Everything is because Krishna is the same way. So when we give Krishna flowers, and we look for nice flowers, and Krishna becomes very happy. And when we offer very nice bhoga to Krishna, nice, beautiful fruits, or we cook very nicely, or we get Krishna becomes very happy. Oh, they're loving me. They care about me. These devotees are trying so hard to give me nice things, so then Krishna has to give back. He feels because he's such a nice person. Whatever he gives Krishna, he wants to pay back much more. Whatever we give to Krishna, Krishna will give back much more. There's never a loss giving anything to Krishna. Foolish people think, well, if I give to Krishna, what about me? I'm poor, I can't afford. They don't know Krishna. They think, if I give things to Krishna, what about me? What about my family? I have to take care of myself. But devotees know everything is coming from Krishna, so whatever it belongs to Krishna already, but when we give it to Krishna, he just gives it back much better. You can easily see that with, offering bhoga to Krishna, and it becomes better. If it's offered with love, then it's much better than not offered. So when we identify with the soul, and we know the qualities of the soul as eternal and blissful, and we meditate, I'm an eternal blissful soul, I'm a servant of Krishna, then we're not so much affected. The suffering, the problems of the body, the adibhotik, adidivik, they're there, but one does not identify with them so much. So you can identifying with the spiritual identity. So that's what, by practicing bhakti yoga, by surrendering, finding a guru, surrendering to the guru, taking initiation, take instruction, we can have a higher consciousness. We have the Bhava Oshadhi. Oshadhi means medicine. We have the greatest medicine, the holy name, the Srimad Bhagavatam. By hearing regularly Srimad Bhagavatam, it's like medicine. It cures this disease of, wanting to enjoy the body and mind. You just keep hearing it regularly. So Prabhupada gave us a nice program of, rising early, chanting the holy name, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day with devotees. Then we see all over the world that people getting purified and miraculous. So we make that effort to, have a Bhagavatam class every day. Bhagavad Gita class also. We use, morning Bhagavatam, evening Bhagavad Gita. Somehow or other, and we're seeing everybody can be a teacher also. A few days ago we had blissful news from Osaka. Right? They have many Bhagavad Gita classes there in Osaka, and Jalangi Mataji was giving class, teaching. She's usually very shy, but somehow, I don't know, she got inspired. But anybody can. Every devotee has special realizations that we can learn from them. Krishna gives special realizations to. So by chanting regularly, practicing, we rise above, we come to the transcendental platform. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakamsati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. Very wonderful sloka from the Bhagavad Gita, 1854. When one is transcendently situated, he realizes the Supreme Person is fully joyful. And also says, my bhamso jiva loka, jiva bhuta sanatana manaksastan indiyani prakritstani karshati. The living entity in the conditioned world are my eternal fragmented parts. Krishna says everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Eternally. Always. Yeah. But we're struggling with the six senses, including the mind. But when we keep the senses and the mind busy in Krishna's service, it's not a struggle, it's joyful. The yogi will have to struggle, no, I won't do this, I won't do that, see no evil, hear no evil, don't taste nice food, don't look at beautiful things, stop the mind from thinking. It's impossible. Krishna says it's very difficult for the conditioned soul, but Bhakti Yoga, we keep the mind and senses busy, thinking of Krishna, talking about Krishna, planning how to serve Krishna, planning festivals, planning what to cook for Krishna, planning how to find some nice flowers, looking for nice flowers. There's a story of one devotee in the Chaitanya Charitamrita who was very absorbed in serving his deities. And he would offer coconut very nice coconuts, even very far away. He would make arrangements to get them. Vaisheshika Prabhu, I hope Sudama, the ones I sent this to, but he was talking about offering flowers to his deity. Haribol. Haribol. Yeah, what happened? You hear me now? Vaisheshika was describing how he offers flowers to his deity. He has a garden and he has many different flowers. So he said there was one kind of flower, it's called a camellia. And it's a very, very beautiful flower. I don't know what they look like myself. Haribol? It's going off and on now. Camellia, you can say camellia. I don't know how it's in. So, but it has no smell. It's very beautiful looking. So he was frustrated because we're supposed to offer flowers that have a nice smell also. So, but then he found out that in Japan there's one type of this flower that does have a nice smell. So he ordered some of those and planted them in his garden. And then he was very happy. He has this beautiful flower that also has a nice smell, and he could offer it to the deity. So devotees use their senses and mind like that, thinking how to serve Krishna. And then there's positive engagement to purify the senses. Eat nice prasadam. But in order to eat nice, we offer nice things to Krishna, but not for ourselves. Devotees prefer to distribute the prasadam than to eat it themselves. Something wrong with the connection now, Nitai. I don't hear you properly. Yeah, let me call back. Hang up and I'll call back. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Haribol? Hare Krishna. Better now? Okay. All right, so anyway, Bhakti Yoga is a simple project. It's not, some yogi, they may think like when Lord Chaitanya was in Varanasi, they thought, why are you singing and dancing, sannyasi should be studying all the time and dried up. But he said this is just natural ecstasy. We enjoy, but for Krishna. Krishna is Rishikesh. Krishna is the master of the senses. It's like, so we can't see without the sun. Therefore, we're dependent on the sun god. But ultimately it's Krishna. He's providing a sun god, he's providing all the different things so that we can, so when we satisfy the senses of Krishna, our own senses are automatically satisfied. So a devotee will cook for Krishna all day, but only eat a little bit himself. Devotee will plan and work hard to prepare a very wonderful feast for Krishna, but for himself he'll eat very simple, just to maintain the body.